Swimming like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp tank.
Hey everybody, welcome to the post-show wrap-up of the Shrimp Tank. I am your co-host, Ted Jenkins, sitting with my co-host today, Lee Heisman. Of course, our guest today, Garett Lockhart, who's the president of the Atlanta Brewing Company. As always, you can see all the replays of all of our broadcasts at shrimptankpodcast.com. We have interviewed some 180 business owners here in Atlanta, some big names out there, the Williamson brothers, Jim Ellis, Duffy Realty, and many more that you can learn from about how to become a successful entrepreneur. And as always, you can go to the Apple Store and you can download our podcast. Especially, you can go to Google Play, but iHeartRadio is where we really picked up steam. We now have several thousand people every single day that are downloading our podcast and learning more about what we do right here at the Shrimp Tank.
Well, you know, Garett, we want to learn more about what you do at Atlanta Brewing Company, and you guys have been in existence 25 years here, the longest standing in the state of Georgia. Tell our listeners what distinguishes you from any other brewing company, because there's so many that are popping up, it kind of gets confusing.
Right, yeah. Like you said, we started in 1993. Our original founder started the brewery. He wanted it to be a traditional English-style brewery, but since then we've had to keep up with the market and market trends. So we tried to really focus on quality, and what we really focus on is connecting our community to the past, present, and future of Atlanta beer.
You know, and also just to be clear, you had a founder that opened this many years ago. The past 3.5 years, you've been president. You grew within the rankings of it. I find that story to be so intriguing. We listened to that on the podcast. Can you just elaborate on what it's like being the president of this organization?
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's been a wild ride from entry-level production to the president of the brewery, but it's a lot of fun. I think that I've been fortunate to be able to surround myself with some really great people who are, I would consider, experts in each individual department that they cover. So they really help me and make my job a lot easier. So it's really about bringing in the right talent.
Craft beer has exploded here in Atlanta, and what's most interesting is that when consumers have to buy products in general, they buy potato chips, they buy cereal, or they buy something like beer, packaging is so important because it tells you about the product and what you're buying and making a decision that might be good for you. So how did you guys come up with this packaging, and how do you try to create packaging that will differentiate the beers from the Atlanta Brewing Company from the other beers that are on the shelf when you walk through a Kroger?
One of my favorite things about this is our sales director, Matt. He came to me and we were talking about this rebrand, and we reached out to get some outside help with this because we knew we didn't have the skill set in-house to create something that really gave the brand respect. But our sales director, Matt, says, how do you create something that gives this company respect? So what he always likes to say is you can still be a single mom and dress age appropriately. And I think that's...
Not if you live in Alpharetta, you can't. No.
So it really just kind of giving the brand respect. 25 years, we had to make sure that it wasn't too out there. It had to be something that paid respect to the Atlanta Brewing
I feel like
Company.
these are so classy. Like I should be playing bocce ball and having one of these beers in my hand.
With those little caps,
Ted,
Ted, little cap that you're wearing, an ascot.
Yeah,
scarf.
it just feels very classy.
It's very, very true. Well, so it looks like we're about to have a party, and I had my first beer today, one of the Hoplanta beers, the freshest one. I think you said it
That's right,
was
freshest
actually
beer in Georgia.
canned this morning.
That's correct.
Freshest beer in Georgia. I haven't had a beer in probably a decade, and it was the most delicious beer I've ever had. Right?
Well, that's
Seriously,
awesome.
a beer in a decade. But what we're going to do is you have some specialty beers, and we're going to watch The Professional pour us a beer out of one of your specialty cans and what you do with the Georgia Aquarium.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so I've got our Whale Shark IPA. This is a collaboration with the Georgia Aquarium. This is, I believe, the 7th different beer that we've done with the aquarium, and the Whale Shark is the flagship in that series. So, yeah, I'll pour each of you a little bit of this beer. Oh, sorry. I think
That's all right. This is a man who has taken brewing science classes, so we're hoping this is nearly the
You're
perfect
going to make
pour.
Lee chug the whole thing, or what?
We're sharing.
Yeah, you've got to have some, too.
And the friend of mine now, we have to get him to do this, but he's got his own thing now that every Friday he basically gets a different beer and he chugs it on Facebook.
Okay.
I like it.
Yeah, sure.
We can make that part of everything. Toast, guys, real quick, to the Atlanta Brewing Company as well.
Cheers.
Oh,
That's delicious as well.
Awesome.
It's delicious as well.
Glad you
Tastes
guys
just like a whale shark. Well, for folks that are watching the post-show wrap-up today, and they want to learn more about the brewery, maybe take their company out for a tour of the brewery, come to the tap room and just taste one of the many beers that you have on tap, or they just want to buy this at the grocery store, how can they learn more about your beers and your company?
Go to atlantabrewingcompany.com, and you can get all the information about the brewery and the beers that we're pouring, and feel free to reach out if you want to have an event down at the tap room.
Well, folks, I love doing this because, as Lee knows, this is my favorite part of the post-show wrap-up, but this is an easy one today because we're talking about beer. And beer is all about having the right ingredients, putting that science together, brewing it the right way so you can come out with an amazing product. And you know what? You should not run your business any differently. It's about having the right ingredients. Do you have the right business plan? Do you have the right employees? Do you have the right pay package? If you mix all of those together and you build the culture the right way, you too can have a very successful business. And that's your post-show wrap-up of the Shrimp Tank.
I've been feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp